Now you could all see.
All right, we're recording. Hi, Edwin. Hi, Eric. Hi, Charles.
Hey.
Sorry to let you guys know Jerry is ill right now, so he told us to go ahead and do this show tonight. So he doesn't want to let anybody down. So say a prayer for Jerry or good vibes or whatever you guys do. Give him a little prayer or whatever. So I'd like to welcome Edwin, first time on here.
My headphones aren't working for some reason.
It's okay. We can hear you. I'm the one recording it, so
It's not feeding back.
I just kidding.
I don't hear anything, so.
All right, good. So we'll do it this way.
All right, you're fine.
Hold on. Good. My headphones are very bulky anyway.
So we would like to welcome Edwin. We're busting your cherry on this show tonight, except Jerry isn't here to help. So how you doing, Edwin?
Yeah, I'm doing all right. Sorry that Jerry couldn't be here, and hope he gets better. And it's Raphael, our friend. He's on the page, Michael Hampton.
Yeah.
Oh, Charles is here too. I didn't know Charles.
Yeah, Charles is here.
Taking part. Hey,
Yeah,
what's up,
I'm
man?
shooting away my
What's up?
kids. So.
Hey.
Shooting his waist, kids.
Are you like doing some snipe? Are you doing some black ops stuff?
It was like, whoa.
Yeah.
I thought it was a
doing
fly or
that.
something around you.
Yeah, I
It's
saw
like,
you
yeah, I
like.
gotta assassinate this guy, but I want to make sure they do the bullshit sessions.
Yeah. No, it's really cool to be on with Edwin and Eric. That was a great show I listened to today. That was awesome. Really
Oh,
enjoyed
nice.
that
Thanks a
one.
lot.
Thank you.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I'll be listening to that and the plug tomorrow on the way
plug.
to work.
I'm like halfway through it, man. It's fucking good. It's really good.
You guys are always good. Both of you guys always rock.
Thank you.
I love the Rock All Over You podcast. I love the plug podcast. Of course, we like the Rock and Metal Combat podcast.
Oh,
I try to
yeah.
plug everybody on everything, and Decibel Geek. They don't
Oh,
really
yeah.
need a plug from us. Decibel Geek.
I
is
know they're like,
up there. They don't need us.
yeah,
But
they're on a
hey,
high.
so what are you
high
drinking
level.
there, Edwin?
I'm
Your High Life?
drinking Miller High Life.
I got some whiskey.
I got some
Nice.
whiskey too. I'm gonna do that afterwards. I gotta finish that Glenlivet. I've been
Oh
working
man,
on.
that shit is good. I
Yeah,
had
you're
I had a
finally
shot
gonna
of that.
see it get finished actually. So that's good.
I tried that Metallica, what is it, blackened whiskey? I was at
How was it?
my wife's friend's house. It was good, but the thing is, he gave it to me in a little tiny glass. And I guess I don't know etiquette. That's a sipping glass, not a shot glass. I shot it. I took a shot.
Oh God,
He was like, "What'd you just do? Oh, you're supposed to sip it? Oh, I thought it was a shot."
I would have done the same thing.
Yeah, that's a
Well,
fine, high class Metallica beverage, man. You gotta savor that.
I didn't know that. It was good though.
But now, was it like, so it was good? It wasn't like just one of these like shitty whiskeys and the band just slaps their logo on it so it can like upcharge it a lot.
No, they actually worked with the whiskey makers on this, and they
Awesome.
they put different barrels and blast different Metallica songs, like Blackened, any. I bet the Load album, you guys probably won't like that version if they're
I
blasting.
wouldn't drink that one.
I'm not drinking that.
Master of Puppets would probably be good, right? So
Yeah.
we got some topics. We wanted to talk about streaming. So
Yeah,
That's
I
why,
got some shit to say
Charles
about
is there.
that.
So I'm gonna
Yeah,
let you
me
go.
too.
I'm gonna
Yeah.
let you go first, Eric.
Oh man, so obviously I'm pro streaming. I know Mark, we decided to do this episode because you really been bagging on like streaming services. And don't get me wrong, I'm all about physical copies, buying music, support artists. I'm all about that. But streaming, I feel it gets this horrible rap that really doesn't deserve. Don't get me wrong, there's the people that use streaming and they never plan on buying music, and they use streaming, and obviously the artists don't get paid a whole lot. My big thing is streaming is very useful, for a lot of people, including myself. I discovered more music, like more new music, new bands in the streaming era than I ever did, before streaming existed. With streaming, I can listen to an album before I buy it, if I don't have a lot of money one week, because I work, I got bills to pay, and I can't afford to buy like 20 albums every week. I can't sometimes always afford to keep buying new music. And so streaming really helps me because I can enjoy a new album or test it out before I buy it. If Armored Saint released a new album and maybe I got rent due and all this and that, I can't buy it right away. and then I can still listen to it. And then when I finally do have the money, I can go and buy it. Or, maybe too, I can listen to a new band. I could discover a new band, have all their music on the streaming. And maybe I'm like, man, I really want to buy a CD, but maybe I'm going to buy a t-shirt first. So I can still listen to the song. So I'm going to buy a t-shirt real quick from them, which, that's $30 for them, then buy the album or buy concert tickets or something. So, I mean, streaming has its advantages and it can really help you discover a lot of new music. I mean, streaming is not going away. So you got to kind of try and find a way to make streaming work for you as all these bands out there. You got to just try and find a way to make streaming work for you because it's not going away. Obviously, I feel like these artists should get paid a little bit more money than what they are. It's kind of a joke, but at the same time, too, like Michael Brandwald said, these bands, the reason they're getting a lot less money with streaming is because a lot of that money is going to the record company. So that's why the artists are getting paid very little. So a lot of it's the record company. A lot of people put the blame on streaming, but the record companies too. The record companies rip off these artists still, and the streaming services are getting a bad rap for it. I know Trevor William Church from Haunt. He has his own label, and he's said in like some interviews that he makes enough money to pay his bills and to survive, to support his family and all that because he has his own record label. He doesn't have a contract with a big record label. So basically a lot of that money goes right to him, so that's another thing artists should look into, possibly like maybe starting their own labels or finding ways to distribute their own music. I mean, we live in a social media age where you really don't need to rely on a record company to get your name out there. You yourself can get your band's name out there, so I think bands just got to get creative. I think streaming does a lot of good. I think we just gotta, bands gotta get more creative with how they distribute themselves, advertise themselves, and just yeah, I'm rambling here, but yeah, streaming honestly, man, there's a lot of good benefits to it. And like I said, I've discovered so much new music because of streaming. So many new bands that maybe I would have never discovered if I still had to pay for each individual album or song I bought.
We get it. Spotify has paid you off. You got the check in the mail.
I'm an Apple Music guy.
Apple Music.
I hate Spotify. I'm not a Spotify person.
You got Apple
me too.
money.
Yeah, I got the Apple money.
I'm just the way why I hate streaming is because the artists don't get paid. But the thing is, I've been reading about it. Artists didn't get paid back in the day either because the record companies would always go recomp like Kicks. Their first two albums didn't make money, and then Blow My Fuse comes out and goes 2 million. They didn't get any of the money because they had to pay for their first two albums to the record company, so they were screwed.
And people overlook that a lot too, is that artists have always been getting ripped off. Streaming is just the newest method of them getting ripped off. Artists have been getting ripped off since way back. Look at Sabbath and how much money they got screwed out back in the 70s. Record companies at the end of the day have always been screwing over bands. And honestly, I think there's a better opportunity for bands to avoid all that in today's market because, like I said, the social media world we live in, it's so easy to advertise for yourself. The reason you needed a record contract was because one, you needed the money and the studio time, which a record contract would give you that, and it'll give you better quality recordings. But the biggest thing the record company did was promote you so you can sell a lot, so you can make a lot of money. Artists nowadays have the power in their hands to, get their fan base behind them and to promote themselves. So you really don't need a record company. You need the money for studio time, your stage show. And you can fund yourself and build your fan base yourself and get yourself out there, get your name out there with social media. You got Facebook, Instagram, YouTube, all of that. So you really don't need a record company. I think if you ditch the record company, find a way to get your music out there on your own, you can make more money from your music and still have a strong fan base and become huge.
Yeah, I just think it needs to change. The streaming needs to change the way they pay artists. The record company, they need to say, look, we want to give a little bit more to the artist here. Why don't you stop being a dick and let us release some more money to them, because if we don't pay these artists, we're going to get shit like Britney Spears, who could afford to fucking put out albums and don't need streaming to pay them. Or you have artists like Def Leppard or Motley Crue used to own their own catalogs, and Def Leppard in fact made copies of their songs so they could put streaming on there, until Universal goes, what the fuck, we're losing out on money on Def Leppard, why don't we have a streaming contract? Oh, they won't let us stream it. And they go, well, we need to make a deal with these fuckers, you know. And that's all their stuff went like live streaming, and it was like #1 in every country. All Def Leppard's albums, even Hysteria, dude. What do you think about it, Edwin?
Yeah, I haven't heard your opinion, so.
Yeah, well, I think firstly, Britney Spears isn't selling that much these days. You got to update your pop references, Mark.
Yeah, Mark.
All right, Lady Gaga or whatever.
I didn't know who's on. So
Cardi B.
Anymore.
Cardi
Britney
B.
Yeah, I think-
Spears. Wait, Mark is very young. Eric is very young, Mark. So we have to explain. Britney Spears is she was a artist.
Hey, I was whacking my pud to
2000.
Britney Spears back in the day, man. I'm not that young.
She's a legacy artist, Mark. That's like talk about Madonna.
I love Madonna. I used to have her poster.
She's this
on my
old
wall.
lady. Britney Spears, Eric, it's this old lady that lives in Vegas, and she had a very popular career dressing up like a schoolgirl in the late 90s.
I remember that video. That video was the shit. I was like, yeah,
So there you go.
I'm like, I'm feeling a
how-
certain way about this.
Yeah. How do I feel about streaming? I'm kind of on board with Eric. I'm not as anti-streaming as a lot of people in the RMCP army, because I mean, like Eric, I mean, I use it to sample music. I use it to sample music. Spotify is very useful that way. It's also good if you want to share music to other people and like
Mhm.
turn people on to music. There's a lot of times, like me and this bartender I'm friends with at the Rainbow, we're always like sending. Sorry about that. We're always sending each other like a playlist of like, oh, listen to this artist, listen to this album. And you couldn't just do that with your own private collection. Now, yeah, if you really love music and you got the money, you should support the artist and buy their
Absolutely.
shit. Plus, the quality will be better because Spotify does have shit quality.
Oh yeah.
You know, so if you care about music and you love artists, yeah, you want to own that stuff. Plus, it's important to own things.
Yeah.
Because, you know, and that's one thing that is getting lost with younger generations is they don't really value owning things, but you know, there's this misconception, and I think they believe that the stuff on Spotify, like they own, like, because you get to save it and create your own like, album, you know, like your own list of albums, and it's like your library. But it's not a library you actually own. Like even a library that you create like via Apple, like iTunes, is, and I still call it iTunes anyway, just so we're not confused by Apple Music streaming. But you know, they call it the Apple Store. It's a little confusing now, but it's still fucking iTunes. You know, the stuff you buy on iTunes, you actually own it. It's on your hard drive. You know, you download it to your hard drive. It has a higher, you know, it sounds better. The audio is better.
You
Plus
can always adjust it.
Yeah, and you own it, so it's on your hard drive, you know. Whereas the stuff that's streaming, you know, look like Neil Young, and I don't want to get into that topic. I'm just using it as an example. Neil
I
Young,
like Neil Young.
it's
Just
Enough
to let you
people
guys know,
talked about
I
it.
like
I'm
his
tired
music.
of it.
You know.
But yeah, I'm just saying one. I'm a fan of his music as well. I'm just saying that 1 week he has his you know, it's there, and then 1 week it could not be there. Like and it would be copyright issues, or there could be some albums considered offensive, so it's no longer available. There's just various things that don't trust that music that's there 1 week is going to be there next week. And if you really care about music, you do want to own it. However, that being said, I mean, like Eric said, like there's no reason you can't have both. You know, I want to have as many options with my music, you know, to indulge my music obsession as possible. You know, if, you know, I got iTunes, I got vinyls, I buy CD box sets, even though I don't currently have a CD player even, because my latest Mac doesn't even have a CD drive, although I'm going to probably buy an external one at some point. But I haven't really needed to do it. And then Spotify, like, you know, Eric said, it's a great place to sample music. You can sample a whole discography. You don't have to wait for ads like on YouTube or something, you know. And I mean, if you pay $10 a month, which I do, it's, you know, it's fairly cheap. And best yet, you can create playlists for like driving around, and it's flexible, you know, depending on where you're at or who you're talking to, you know, you can get them something from Spotify pretty fast. And if you are passionate about sharing music as much as listening to music, then, you know, it's a useful thing. Now, I don't use it as a proxy or replacement to my real music library, but at the same time, you know, the people that just listen to music casually and stream on Spotify, I feel like they're the same people that never were buying music. I feel like they're the people that were just listening to the radio or just had MTV on in the background. You know what I
Hey,
mean?
man.
Like
Yeah.
there used to be radio. Remember radio?
Yeah.
You know?
Yep.
And what were the artists getting from being on radio? So I think it's just like those people that just listen to the top 40 and whatever radio was on, they're now streaming instead.
Yeah.
And the people that were obsessive, the Mike Damone types that loved music, they're still the people that go out and buy vinyls and buy the things. So I just think just because the medium changes, I think that the taste and habits of certain kinds of music fans, depending on how obsessive you are, remains the same.
Mm-hmm.
So
Another point.
that's my opinion.
Yeah, it's like speaking of streaming, this band that the drummer Charlie Benante's in, Classic 78, that's like they make brand new songs that sounds like 70s Kiss, right? And Aaron Camaro is always talking about Classic 78 classic. And then I heard an interview with them with Mitch LaFon, and I go, you know what? I like 70s Kiss. I want to go check out Classic 78, and it's spelled with a K. And I go check it out, and Amazon removed all their music from their streaming service. So I'm like, well, fuck. So I would have used streaming to hear that so I could go buy it, but you can only buy their stuff off their website. So
yeah, there's some things that, you know, on Spotify, there's this great Aerosmith live album that's only available on Spotify from the late 70s, from the Draw the Line tour. It's essentially like an alternative live bootleg, but actually sounds even better. You know, I mean, some people think live bootleg sounds like shit. I love it.
I love it too.
I love the scrappy, raw quality of it, but it's a really strong live album, and it's not available you can't buy it on iTunes. You can't buy the CD. Ian Wadley had a bootleg, but it's all just on one track, you know, when everything's just on one track. Like,
Oh,
I hate
that would
that.
annoy me.
yeah. And he asked, he says, do you want it? It's all on one track. And I went, nah, fuck it. I'll just listen to it on Spotify.
That's
So
like I have a friend. I wanted Wayne's World. This is before like iTunes had like all these movies. It's like in the early days of iTunes, so they didn't have a whole lot of movies yet. I wanted Wayne's World on my iPod, and like my friend's like, I can burn it, but I have the 2-in-1 DVD, so you just have both movies together as one. So you'd have to skip forward to part 2 if you wanted to watch it.
Ew.
I'm like, no, thank you.
Yeah,
I'm like, I'll wait till they get the copyrights.
So Charles,
it's like
what do
the
you?
Godfather saga. When they put it all together, it's the Wayne's World saga.
Yeah. By the way, real quick, if anyone has a copy of that Rat DVD that has the 2 videos on, that has like all the music videos and the 2 VHS like video documentaries, it's called like Videos from the Cellar, the Atlantic Years. If you have that DVD, send it to me, because I'll suck your dick for it. I accidentally gave it away and I regret it because it's like $1,000 now. It's out of print. Send me that if you have it. I'll give you my mailing, my PO box.
Hey Charles, what do you think about streaming, buddy?
You know, I'm a pretty passionate defender of it, actually, because some of us have been in environments where you can't have a record player, you can't have vinyl. I was for a good number of years, and just think about like soldiers and sailors and stuff like that. Streaming is a godsend in that regard. I understand the whole, you know, I used to buy a bunch of CDs like everybody else, vinyl and all that, but think about it, just to get the whole Kiss discography. If you have nothing, you got to work from the ground up. You get everything. That's a lot of money, like Eric was saying. You pay this little fee, $9.99 a month. Typically, I'm an Apple user. I don't use Spotify.
Right on.
Has nothing to do with the politics of it. It just ended up being that way. And I also noticed that what Edwin said. I've noticed some differences with Spotify and Apple Music. Sometimes you can't find certain things on Apple Music and vice versa, but not everybody is in that environment. You have a lot of people struggling to make ends meet. Gas prices are outrageous. Everything's outrageous right now. And you have a whole huge library at your disposal. I understand that some of the artists don't get the same money that they never got to begin with. But meanwhile, if you have a family with children, things like that, it was a godsend. Actually, I've discovered more new music. One, from listening to like you guys, rock and metal,
Yeah.
all these different shows, and discovering all this different music, and I can find it immediately. Usually, typically. Now, when I'm dealing with Lee, not so much, but with everybody else, yes, I can usually find it immediately. And then I can listen to it and say I like it or I don't like it. And I don't have to go out and break the bank to do it. Now, will I get to a point where eventually I could be sitting in a room like you with a bunch of posters and stuff and vinyl all over the place? Probably. But, you know, I do a lot of moving around. So for people that do that, it's a godsend to me. And the whole notion of, I've heard people say you can't be a music fan if you like streaming. That's like saying you have to support Scab Kiss. To me, no, you don't. You don't have to.
I think streaming has a use. I just wish they paid more. And I know I'm the biggest offender back in the day when somebody said in 2001, hey, have you tried Kazaa? You could go download all these albums for free. And I go, what? I wasn't making much money. That's why I downloaded all these albums for free. And I felt like shit later when I found out, oh, fuck, Lars was right. You know, I was like, man, that's why these artists aren't making money. They can't afford to make a new album. You gotta go.
Were you guys ever on board with Napster?
No, I didn't ever.
I
heard
was
of
too young for
Napster.
Napster. My dad, his boss had three daughters. Two of them were like teenagers, a lot older than me. So they were on board with Napster. So I knew about it, but I didn't really fully understand it at all. Yeah, I was too young for Napster, but I was around when LimeWire was a thing. And that's,
Yeah.
I remember I
used
downloaded
LimeWire.
some songs off there when, you know, before, but I'd always buy, like, once I got money, when it was my birthday or Christmas, or if I did some lawn mowing or whatever, shoveling snow and saved up some money, I'd buy the actual albums. I hated the quality of the LimeWire. I also downloaded some porn off LimeWire, like the
Of course
Tommy
you
Lee,
did.
Pam Anderson video. So yeah,
Yeah.
I remember LimeWire, but I was one of those people though, like I wanted to have the actual album. If I bought the CD or if I bought it on iTunes, I had to have like an actual copy that I owned. You know, LimeWire was just there so I could listen to it and enjoy it before I actually bought it.
I got the torrents, man. I found sites that were private sites that I found, it was FLAC files only. And I was like, oh God, FLAC files. I convert them to MP3s and it would sound like just like a CD that you converted to an MP3. And I was going, this is fucking amazing. And then I started loading my own CDs onto that site because they give you, you have to have certain parameters to burn it. It has to be perfect. So there's no fucking, it's like clean. And then I go, FLAC files rule. I wish like all these freaking Apples and everything would go to FLAC files, but it'd probably take a lot of freaking, our internet's not that good. So stream a FLAC file would take forever.
As Charles was saying, Apple streaming, it does have higher quality than Spotify. The only reason I don't use it is because I've heard a lot of horror stories from people that have a large Apple library, music, library, and that the artwork changes sometimes, and sometimes it gets confused with your library, and you'll get like the version of streaming. And I've been building up this library on my computer for like over a decade, so it's just like, oh, I don't want any chance of something fucks with my shit, and I'm very OCD with my library. So I was like, I'll diversify my streaming someplace else. I don't want to cross. I don't want,
cross the streams.
I tried Apple Music,
streams, no.
Apple Music for a month. They gave you a free trial. And then all the songs I had on my phone, they replaced it with all the Apple songs. So when I quit it, they wouldn't play. So I had to take out all the songs and then it takes hours to put to freaking plug your phone in and put all the replenish your freaking library.
Yeah, I heard a lot of
one thing that gets
a lot of problems.
The one thing that gets annoying with me is like if you buy, like sometime with Apple, like if you buy a song, it'll show like two copies of it. Like when you click on that album, or sometimes for whatever reason, it'll separate it. So the songs you bought, like if you bought like particular songs, you haven't bought the whole album yet. If you have the album in your library, like it has two separate albums, one with the tracks you bought and one with the tracks you haven't bought. And you'll have to like delete it and re-add it again to just combine it. So it gets a little annoying sometimes.
So Eric, you could go into sorting.
Yeah.
And Yeah,
Yeah.
it's kind of a pain in the ass, but if you go in the
Yeah, it's a
store,
pain in
and
the ass.
you
but
got to make sure it all lines up and says exactly the same thing. And then
yeah.
it probably is about the same amount of time as just deleting it and doing it again. But there is another workaround. You can do it if you go in the
Okay.
store.
Oh, it's
I've done
funny.
That's good
It
to
was
know.
funny one time because I put a box set in my computer. 2 of the CDs they went like Tom Petty with the Heartbreakers, and the other CD said Tom Petty spelled out and the Heartbreaker. So it divided it like 2
yeah.
different artists. Let's
Yeah,
go.
I've
What's
seen them do
That
that
happens with
too.
my Paul McCartney because there's like Wings and Paul McCartney,
Yeah.
Paul McCartney and Linda McCartney, Paul McCartney and Wings and Paul McCartney, and it's so annoying. It's like, God damn, I just want it all together, damn it.
Yeah, I do. What I do, I go in and I modify a lot of shit. This is another reason why I don't want my library getting fucked up. Because
Yeah,
I like my shuffles.
Yeah.
I'm very into shuffles, and I do
Yeah.
genre shuffles. Plus, my genres are different than the genres. Because if it was up to them, everything's fucking rock. Almost. It'd be
Yeah.
everything. Yeah, it's like Neil Young, Metallica, Bob Seger. Right? Like they
Yeah,
just
it's not all the same.
Bob Dylan. Like it all be rock. So like I don't want to. I separate shit to be more specific. So I get in there and I create metal, I create rock, I create punk, new wave, country. I like my different genres. So that's one thing. But also, like you were saying about the artist, like take Paul McCartney Wings. You got like Prince and the Revolution. You got Neil Young and Crazy Horse. Now, if I'm doing like a Neil Young shuffle, I don't want to split up Crazy Horse and Neil Young. I want to hear it all. So I go in there and I actually change the album artist. So it's all consistent, and yeah, you got to get in there, but it's worth it if you care about the shuffle, that's the thing. Because I do like to do an artist shuffle from time to time as well. So I want to hear all that shit. So yeah, and there's also like albums where it's a compilation with different artists,
Yeah.
So you got to do all that shit, but it's fun. It's something I've done over the years. It's driven people crazy in my life around me. But yeah, I'm a little OCD, but God damn it. When I'm sitting one afternoon and I have just the right mood I'm creating with my shuffle, it's like, it's all worth it.
Yeah.
Yeah, man. It's like
Nailed
also what Apple does is like I put in the new Scorpions album today and I put it in, burned it into
so
my
good.
iTunes, and the cover art was the Scorpions' greatest hits. And I go, what the fuck? It's the brand new album. So I had to go in there, delete the album cover, download the right album cover, and put it in there because that would have just drove me nuts. If I went.
Dude, they've been doing that forever. Like I remember my mom had Dr. Feelgood on CD, and this one I was like 14, so I still thought Motley Crue was cool. So I put Dr. Feelgood.
You don't now?
I put the CD, the Dr. Feelgood CD, I burned it onto my iTunes, but for whatever fucking reason, it kept, when I'd click show album artwork, it would give me the Shot the Devil album artwork. And I'm like, what the fuck? Because I think subconsciously iTunes wanted me to listen to Shot the Devil. They're warning me. They're like, don't listen to it. It's bad.
Well, it's like they do that shit all the time, and I have to go in and fix it, and it just pisses me off.
Took me a while.
I'm sitting here watching it.
It is more buggy than Spotify. I would say.
It took me a
I've
while to
noticed
figure
that.
out that you can paste your own album artwork on there. Because I remember I used to put I'd put like the dirty album covers. Like I had Electric Ladyland by Jimi Hendrix. I put the original album cover with all the naked chicks on it. All the, except for Virgin Killer. I was going to ask you about that one because no, thank
That's
you.
good.
I don't need that.
You'd be put on an FBI list if you did this.
Yeah, for real.
Killer. Oh my god! I think I switched it once in iTunes. I go, nah, fuck that. I'm putting back the other one. I go, that's.
I used to have that. I had that album because my dad had a copy of it from Germany, but I was like, I don't like, just doesn't do anything for me. Like, no, thank you. And like, I think I sold it to like discount, like discount books or whatever the hell that place, or Disc Replay, one of those fucking stores. I gotta hit up a Disc Replay in the future sometime and buy a bunch of shit.
Yeah, but
I've done the same thing, Eric. I did I would put like cooler, or like the vinyl album version, like the cover, like for Shadow of the Devil, for example. Like
because it's a different cover.
Yeah, because it's that badass matte black, pentagram.
Yeah,
that's cooler than just those 4 pictures of them. So yeah,
I like that better as a gatefold. You know, that image is better as a gatefold.
Yeah, I bought the gatefold used, and I have a thing to buy Motley Crue merch in there. I was like, nice.
Oh, nice. You got the order form?
I have the order form. I have the same thing for an Aerosmith album. I think I put it on here. I said, I wonder if I could order this. And
I used to have the fucking Kiss Alive 2 with the order form and the tattoos, man. And I sadly, man, just, you know, fell on some hard times, had to move, and I had to sell it for money because I just didn't have room for it. I had a lot of vinyl I had to sell, sadly, because I just didn't have the room, and I needed money at the time. It sucked, but
dude,
I'll get it back eventually, man. I mean, I'll eventually buy it again.
I just
find
created a
it.
space
Mark.
for another CD. Yeah.
Mark, look, this is a sipping glass.
I've been sipping mine.
Okay.
Well, it's gone now because I started earlier than you. But yeah,
I just want to say, I loved your snorting whiskey video, Mark.
I love that fucking video. That's hilarious.
I think that might be your best work.
I laughed my shaft off.
Oh God, I think Keith Ashford said he was at a restaurant when he watched it. And he spit all. He had jalapeno in his mouth, and almost like spit on him everywhere.
Well, shit.
And I go, I guess I did my job. He goes, yeah, but the waiter didn't like it.
Mark, you're like that. You are that guy. You're like the friend. Like, yeah, you're the guy that's like, you know, everyone's kind of like, are you sure he's cool? And like, you do some like funny ass shit like that makes everyone laugh. You're like, yeah, this guy's cool. He's hanging with us.
Dude, I like to be a clown sometimes. I like to fuck around, you know.
Yeah, you better be at Rockin' Pod in next spring, man.
Oh, I'm going.
It's gonna be a time.
It's gonna be.
Well, I gotta teach Nate how to drink whiskey, because him throwing up that toilet drinking whiskey. Like, dude, you threw up some good whiskey. What the fuck, dude?
Yeah, I'm trying to get I got a really good friend through Facebook who he's really close with Lizzie Borden, so I'm trying to get Lizzie Borden there for me and Chris Sinzak and him are working to try and get Lizzie Borden at Rockin' Pod. And luckily too, it being moved to spring might have helped us a little bit, buy us some more time. So I'm hoping Lizzie Borden shows up. I'm trying to get Chris. I keep messaging Chris Caffrey on Instagram. I keep commenting like on his pictures to try and get Chris Caffrey there too. It's Chris Caffrey rules. So yeah.
Hey, Charles, will your mission be done by then? You think you can make it to Rockin' Pod?
I was gonna make it regardless, one way or the other. I was a little bummed when I heard that it got bumped a whole nother year, because I'd already made some plans to get there. But yeah, I mean,
it's more time to plan for it.
I'm not a secret agent guy. It's just mainly you get vacations and stuff like that. So yeah, and that room or that building they got looks mega. The pictures that were posted the other day on Facebook, it looks like it's going to be a pretty big facility they're in. So yeah, I will definitely. I planned on being there this year. So I was a little
I think Eric and I would have been there this year if it happened, but
I'm actually happy about it, though. It gives us more time to build our brand and kind of get our following up there. And I'm like, I was talking with Edwin earlier. We're gonna design like probably around like winter of next year. I'm gonna design us like an actual official logo, you know, something that, you know, without the album covers, because I love to put that logo we have now on a t-shirt, but I don't want to get in trouble if we try selling it.
Oh, sorry.
Because of the album covers. So I'm gonna try and create something that we can put on a t-shirt. I got a couple other t-shirt designs in mind too that we could sell. So
well, at least you didn't put your pictures in front of the album covers, because that would have reminded me of Terrence. You know?
Oh God.
I mean,
and we put like a bunch of albums that we don't even like on there, just to like the Overkill logo.
He don't like Overkill. He's
lying.
He don't like Overkill.
He just likes it because it's a neon green logo. That looks really nice.
Just David Gilmour over and over again. What what was your guys' opinion on him getting that YouTube page shut down? How the hell is his page not shut down?
He's got a lot of time.
How is that not possible?
Well, he's up 24 hours a day, man. He has nothing to do. So
yeah, dude, he don't work.
He probably has like 1 million sock puppet accounts going there.
How does he
You'd be surprised what you can do when you're not
working.
I was out of work for like a long time with like I was laid off and I was struggling to find work, and like it was only like maybe like a month of being off work because I was on like unemployment, just trying to find a new job as work was hard to find. I had gotten laid off from my other job, and man, even that month, man, I had a shit ton of time, and you get bored, so you look for shit to do. So, I can't imagine doing that like every fucking day of the year,
Dude, I was just here recording extra podcasts and making new podcasts, making new shows like this show. It's like,
Yeah, you create a lot of content, Mark.
yeah, I did.
Yeah.
At least I was busy not fucking with people and just doing stuff for myself and other people.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Well,
well,
I
that's-
just
yeah,
I don't
obviously.
understand how he can keep his channel up with the
No.
shit he said through
He
the
erased
years.
it.
Yeah, he'll take the videos down. That's why he does all these, that's why he keeps redoing the same reviews, because he has to take them down because he says all this really fucked up shit. But then he puts another video up and he says other fucked up shit that's just as bad and has to take that one down. It's just,
I noticed though he's got a lot of subscribers. How the hell did he get all those subscribers?
I think they're all his sock puppet accounts that he subscribes to
Is it,
himself.
does he have like? Because
Yeah,
I looked at it, I was
I
like,
think
oh, shit, he's
one
got
is-
more subscribers than me. How the fuck did Terrence do that?
I
Well, if you-
noticed that too, but I think it's one, he's got a lot of the fake accounts, but then two, there was a time when, people did get along with him and they kind of gave, way back, we
When he
gave him
was
the
on the
benefit of the
show
doubt.
back in the
Because
day.
I was like, I always gave him second chance after second chance, and I was trying to be friends with him for a while. And finally, like, he just, it got to a point where enough was enough. I'm like, this guy's never going to learn. This guy's just kind of an asshole. I don't want anything to do
Well,
with
I'll
him.
say this, Terrence.
But
I
then
don't
he
really
built
know
up
the
a
guy.
following.
I don't know the guy. I chatted with him once. Like he talked to me in a messenger like a few years back after I did like a RMCP episode. I forget when. And I was like, okay, I'll look at your videos, man. He was, and I like he did a Bob Seger one, and I don't want to be mean about his videos, but they are what they are. You know what they are. So
Yeah.
he just kind of gives a lot of information, and it's very stilted. Let's just say that. And
Yeah.
but I was nice about it because I try to be that kind of guy and encouraging. I was like, yeah, it's all right. Hey, I love Bob Seger too, and I said that, and he said, like, great, thanks. And I noticed though and I'm not saying you have to do this, but he didn't do the courtesy of then like watching my videos and talking to me. And I just kind of noticed that. So there's just like, it just said something about him. Like,
Yeah.
and
He's got time. That guy's got time to watch videos.
oh,
It's
he's
like,
got
come on,
time.
man.
He's got
Oh,
time to
dude.
watch.
Like,
other
I
people's
sometimes
videos.
can't always watch everyone's video, or I can't listen
There's
to every
no back
episode of
and
everyone's
forth.
podcast, but I try, and
Right.
I always try and at least put it out there, and
Yeah,
so
I mean,
like,
obviously he's got issues.
Yeah.
But so I don't, but I don't want to get into that so much. I'm just saying that there are people that have problems, let's just say that are still kind of nice.
yeah, that's the one
and
thing I can't stand, man. Is he uses that, he uses like his autism as like a crutch to his kind of like really horrible, shitty behavior. And it's like, dude,
yeah,
there's people
you
with
don't
autism
have
that don't
to
act like
be
that, man.
He's got par- I
narcissistic
think he has a
racist
full-
just
I think he
because
has-
you've got autism.
I think he has slight schizophrenia too.
Yeah,
I think he does.
Yeah, that's
So,
believable.
I hope the guy gets the help he needs one day.
I hope
Yeah,
he
I
gets-
must-
I hope he
I
gets
must
help.
be-
man.
I
Yeah.
must be blessed because he won't let me on any of his stuff. So he must have already heard.
Dude,
a
I
little
could go
bit
on.
about
I
me,
could go subscribe
thankfully.
to any one of his things, and the fucker still thinks I'm his friend, so he'll let me in. But I'm not going.
He's still
Yeah.
still clinging on to you as like
He
he
is
still
still
thinks
clinging
there's
on to
that
me.
chance, man.
I blocked everything, all his sock puppet accounts, and he keeps bringing more at me, and I go, "Fuck,
You did
stop."
the right thing, Mark. You
Yeah.
chose the right side.
Yeah. Well, that racist video, I was like, hey,
Yeah, that was just.
I can't.
I remember when I first met, just a little reminiscing here. When I met Mark in person, first time was at that Judas Priest show, and we're going to
Yeah.
see Priest again in 2 weeks.
Yeah.
Awesome. But when I first met Mark at the time was a part. I made the joke on Facebook, if you recall. You were part of the Road Gallery.
Uh-huh.
You were a member of the Road Gallery at that time, and I made a joke. I said, "Look, I'm here with a bona fide member of the RMCP Road Gallery." And I left. But when I met you, he's like, "Oh, Mark's like this really nice, cool guy, and he's seeing fucking Judas Priest, so that's pretty cool." and over time, people learned that about you. Learned you were a cool guy, and you shifted to the right side.
Yeah.
Let's just say
Like I
you-
said, you're that guy that everyone's kind of like unsure about, and everyone kind of thinks, I don't know, man, he seems kind of, I don't know, he seems like kind of a loser. But then you people got to know you and you're like, man, this guy's fucking hilarious. This guy's awesome. You
Yeah,
know, and-
'cause
yeah.
it's-
And you know, we goof on you for the Sammy Hagar stuff. We goof on you for certain things, but you don't take it personal. You joke around with yeah, you're wearing that goddamn shirt.
I was waiting for you to say something about that. I
Is
put
that
these
a
on
Sammy
for you,
Hagar?
Well,
Eric.
that's how bad the circle is. I didn't even notice, and then you had to point it out, and I'm like, wait, it's the circle.
Well,
Oh yeah, that's
is
Sammy
that-
Hagar's shitty band that no one listens to.
So that's a Sammy Hagar thing.
Yeah, see?
Oh, I didn't even know. Is that like
Ah.
chicken foot?
No, it's with Michael Anthony, his guy from the Wabos, and Jason Bonham on drums.
Yeah,
Okay,
that,
so
that
wait,
guy that's
I-
being held against his will by Sammy Hagar.
the ghost of John Bonham is rolling in his grave. Anyway,
Yeah.
just I want to ask you, Mark, is the thing
Why,
Like,
son?
Charles.
Why?
How could you do that? How can you do that? Do your dad like that, man?
Yeah, man.
They were good. Shit, Sammy was
listen,
fun.
I gotta ask you, Mark, though. Is the
Uh.
thing, is this what, so does pretty much Michael Anthony and Sammy Hagar, like they gotta, every 2 years, they play with some people, they annoy those people, and then they gotta like start a new band every 2 years? Is that
Yeah,
kind
how
of,
many bands have those two been a
Well,
part of?
the-
Like, Jesus.
Joe Satriani's been begging him to do Chicken Foot again because he really enjoys
Begging?
being in the band with. He's begging.
begging.
He said, "Well, I guess," I'm
Really?
gonna-" and then he goes, "Well, I
What?
guess I've heard him on the podcast, Eddie Trunk. He's saying, I keep bugging Sammy. Let's go.
Did-
Come on, I want to make a
Did A
Chicken
Trunk
Foot
have a
album."
gun to his head? Because A Trunk
Oh
is
my
a
God.
big Sammy tard.
And Chad Smith is always playing with freaking the Chili Peppers, so that's why they don't
Yeah,
do the band.
Yeah, I'm positive Chad Smith's making more money with the Chili Peppers than what
Yeah,
Hagar.
they
yeah,
said that's his day
not
job.
much of a decision. Be the drummer of the Chili Peppers or the drummer of Chicken Foot or whatever they're called.
What's that name, Chicken Foot? Like, oh, I don't. That just screams shit. Like,
You're
come
kind
on.
of, you're kind of just setting up. It's like you want to lose. You want to
Yeah.
fail when you name your band Chicken Foot.
Oh my God, I love
That almost
those
kind of
albums,
makes me like him, though. I'll say that. I say that. At least he's like owning it up and saying, "Yeah, this is a shit band. Here's a shit name."
though. He makes some great alcohol. You can't say that that Santo
Well, he
I've
tequila.
sold
never
out.
bought- I
He
never
sold
bought
those
his
Cabo
tequila.
Wabos.
Huh?
He sold them, but he made a lot of money.
Yeah,
That's
but
one thing about Sammy Hagar. He's filthy rich because he fucking sold that shit.
he's got Santo
Yeah.
tequila.
Well, he
now
wouldn't
with
have
Guy
gotten there
Fieri.
though without Eddie Van Halen. You
That's
really
true.
think the guy that wrote "I Can't Drive 55" would have gotten the money to invest in that tequila if it wasn't for Eddie Van Halen? And you think that tequila would have gotten as big without his name attached to it, with the Van Halen name associated with him?
He wouldn't
I don't
even
think so.
have the song Cabo Wabo without Van Halen.
Yeah. Exactly.
Well, they did invest in that club down there, and it sucked. Eddie was pissed off because it wasn't making any money. So freaking he paid them off. He gave them back their shares. They got out. They were happy. And then 2 years later, that club blew up, and they're all fucking. He fucked us. They were all pissed off at him because he didn't give. He said he knew this club was gonna blow up. You know. That's all. Fuck it. I love them. I love them all. I love Daily Roth. Is Van Halen. Sammy
right.
is not Van Halen. It's Van Hagar.
Vangina.
I enjoy it though, but I don't enjoy it as much as David Lee Roth. My go-to Van Halen is David Lee Roth, 7 albums with David, and David's first solo album. And I kind of like Skyscraper because it's weird. You put headphones on,
That
there's lots of shit
skyscraper's
going
pretty
on.
good, man.
Little,
It's not
You
that
just-
bad.
Little Ain't Enough is really good. Have you
Oh,
listened
I
to
Oh
that?
yeah,
love
that's
that
a really
one.
good
That's
sensible
really good.
shoes. I love that fucking.
You
Oh,
just
I
skipped
think
Gary
that's second.
Cerrone.
If
You
Little
just
Ain't
skipped
Enough
Gary
was the
Cerrone. I'm
follow-up-
sorry, I'm surprised.
If Little Ain't Enough was the follow-up to Eam and Smile, I think Dave would have fared better. I think Skyscraper, while I do think it's a good album, kind of hurt him because I think he kind of like, got too influenced by Van Hagar with the keyboards and everything. It was a little too much keyboards. And
I
think,
agree. That's essentially his OU812. That's the thing. Skyscraper.
Yeah.
is OU812.
Yeah, so I
man.
think he let Vangina kind of.
They kind of both
Yeah.
8-1 on that.
Yeah, they both did.
But like I saw David Lee Roth on that tour, a Skyscraper. Billy Sheenan wasn't there because David pissed him off, and they had another guy there.
Yeah, because he wanted to take off, like, use synth bass. It's like,
Yeah.
dude, you got Billy Sheenan in your
Yeah.
fucking band.
Yeah, for real.
Didn't you hear the last album? Didn't you hear the last album, Dave?
Do you have the boxing ring?
Yeah,
When
he
you
had the
saw it?
boxing ring in the middle
Oh
of it,
yeah.
and he surfed back to the stage during California Girls. And I had a shirt that had him in like in a boxing regalia, and it said, "Every girl's dream, every boyfriend's nightmare."
Yeah. God, I fucking love Dave.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's great.
I love that shirt. I think my mom turned it pink. So that and my Doc and Back for the Attack, because I saw them at the Long Beach Civic.
Who are they opening
Long Beach
for?
Arena. Long Beach Arena. That was for Aerosmith on what's that fucking album?
Permanent Vacation.
Permanent Vacation, yeah.
Oh,
Yeah.
nice.
Wow,
And-
that's awesome.
Yeah, but they were horrible, dude. Doc
Really?
and-
Aerosmith were horrible?
No, Doc.
Well,
they,
Doc
Oh,
and
what?
they were
Really?
fighting, dude. George and him were like, he kept
Oh.
turning up his amp on Don, and Don couldn't hear himself sing.
Well, you know, they had
Whoa.
the throwdown in the parking lot when they were opening up for AC/DC. and Ryan was
No
talking.
way.
Yeah.
Yeah, in the parking lot. How I want to see that fucking movie. Someone should make a
Yeah, I want to see
documentary.
that shit.
I want to see the epic They Live fight between
Yeah.
George and Don outside the AC/DC show. You know, maybe AC/DC,
Yeah.
and this is like late '80s, so AC/DC's like playing like some cool, like I don't know, something from Fly on the Wall or
Yeah.
something like.
Yeah, I
While
gotta
they're
say,
slugging it
man,
out.
I gotta say, you know, I went through years thinking, you know, Don Dokken was this huge asshole, and now it's like, you know, retrospect, it's like, man, you know, George Lynch actually seems like he was the total asshole, and Don was actually not like a bad guy, and like seems like Don too, especially nowadays, is like really turned a leaf, you know, and really been like kind of a cool guy, whereas George is still just kind of a bitter asshole, you
Well,
know.
George is up there playing within 3 songs a night sometimes. So
Yeah, 'cause
Yeah,
He-
well, it looks
he
like they
needs the
kind of
money.
resolved. I mean, it looks like they kind of resolved it a bit. But man, George Lynch definitely seemed like he was actually more of the asshole at the end of the day. Than
think
I
Edwin
actually
was.
suspect that George has he seems pop. I'm like, you know, I'm not an expert, but I would say he's like maybe manic depressive. Like,
maybe.
you know, if
Yeah.
you've seen him in interviews or bipolar, maybe even he's an
Yeah.
odd guy.
He is.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Remember when he-
Don's just kind of broody, but not
Yeah.
but kind of normal.
Yeah.
Very just normal broody, whereas there's something a little manic and not right about George.
Do you
The
remember
interesting
like? Sorry.
you know what I mean. But in the interesting thing, you know, they're both orphans. It's weird.
Really?
They're really like it's like Batman and the Joker. Like they're two sides of the same
Yeah.
coin. Like,
But
yeah,
like at the same time, almost kind of opposite, but yet similar.
yeah. They were both
Yeah.
orphans, and they like George like lived on the streets for a while. Like, you know, he had a rough childhood, and you could tell that there's some deep trauma with him. There's some issues, and Don and George just like trigger each other.
Yeah.
They got like some weird orphan thing going on.
Yeah.
it's like
Yeah.
guys that have been in jail. Like,
Jeff
they gotta
Pilson's
think,
the
oh, that's a
peacemaker.
jail yard. That's
I
a
love
jail
Jeff
shit you
Pilson.
got going on.
Yeah.
I love Jeff Pilson, man.
Jeff
He is
Pilson's
so he's so like talented, man. And that guy can
Very talented.
sing too.
Yeah.
He's a great singer. I love
You know,
it
he
if
does those great like backing vocals.
Yeah,
and, you
I
know,
love
can
if he
belt
did
it
a
out.
fucking solo album with him just doing
Well,
pretty much
He
everything.
did you hear Lynch? And they have a
The
Pilson Lynch.
TNA.
They have Pilson, they have a
TNN.
Pilson Lynch album too.
Really?
Yeah,
I
yeah.
hadn't heard that one.
Yeah.
It's a little like that's the thing. Whenever George is in the bands, like it's always a little trendy to whatever. You could always tell
Yeah,
what
it's
year it
true.
came out. Like that Pilson Lynch album is very kind of like pseudo industrial.
Really?
Like there's some good melodies in it, but you can kind of hear
It's
like
buried.
yeah. And,
Yeah,
and
I was
I
gonna
think
say
Don stayed the truest. That's the thing. If you listen to all those, but I think Don did the best stuff outside of Dokken. I think he came. It wasn't as good as the stuff he did with George and Jeff for the most. Definitely not as good as the shit in the '80s. But it's like you can tell that Don, you know, and George and Jeff definitely helped take the songwriting to another level. You know, they definitely helped in the '80s. But Don's the heart of that band, like that
yeah.
sound.
Because
he's the
listen to
closest
Lynch Mob. I mean,
Yeah, the Lynch
I'm
Mob
not
doesn't
even really a
sound
big
anything like
fan of.
Dokken.
I'm
Well,
not even the
I
biggest
like-
fan of Wicked Sensation,
Look
the
at
album.
that's not their best
and,
album. They have better.
And
Yeah,
in my opinion, man, like, yeah, George Lynch, he almost a little bit like a Tommy Lee, but not as extreme. But like he was like a trend. He kept just jumping on every trend.
Yep.
You know,
Yeah,
Don
and
just
even-
stayed true to the Dokken sound. I mean, it would evolve, but like it wasn't like he was jumping on trends. You just kind of evolved the sound with each album.
Listen to the last
Charles,
album.
what do you think about Dokken? Are you a fan? I never saw you wave.
I liked them a little bit back in the day, but then they kind of fell off for me because, you know, I remember like Dream Warriors and some of the other stuff. But when Guns N' Roses hit, that was like the end for me. Like everybody else paled, and I just
But
kinda
you never saw
stayed
them
with
live back
GNR.
then.
No, I never did. I mean, I grew up in the
Saw them
sticks.
twice. It's like two of the worst
I grew
shows
up
I've
in
ever
the
seen.
sticks, and it was like hard to, get a
So Doc and
buggy
Mark
and a
getting out
horse to go up to see the Docking at the Coliseum, which was the nearest venue to me. But they're cool. I mean, I've listened to a little bit more of them since. Then the live album you guys reviewed, I liked it a lot. I
Well, you like
enjoyed
a lot
that.
of melodic stuff. You like Oasis, the Beatles, and there
Yeah.
is a little.
Oh,
of that-
there we go. Yeah,
Yeah,
a
the
little
the
bit.
Beatles.
Yeah,
I
Don
liked
Dokken
his.
definitely
I
likes
did
that
like
stuff
his
himself.
guitar. I did like his. I remember his. What was it? The skulls and the bones
Yeah.
on the guitar. And Don Dokken is actually a badass guitar player on his
Yeah, I
own.
like.
Dokken's
Did you
a
ever
really
see
what
good
that
I've
guitar
seen.
clip?
player.
Have
Yeah,
you
yeah.
guys seen that clip of Don Dokken
In
and
Germany.
Dokken in the early '80s? I told you
Yeah.
about this here. God damn, that's awesome. When they're in Germany.
Like,
Yeah,
he didn't necessarily need it, but he got a good guitar player, Lynch and all that. But like I said, they were a band that at the time I was, kind of like into everything. So it wasn't like, oh, just Dokken. I was listening to a little bit of everything back then. And then I heard Welcome to the Jungle, and that was the end for there. And then I was devoted to them. And boy, did they slap me in the face. I can't wait to someday they can do those Use Your Illusions and set that record straight on that one.
Did you think, Charles, were you though, did Guns N' Roses disappoint you? Because you're setting up thinking, oh great, this is gonna be a good 10 years worth of albums. This will be like Led Zeppelin in the 70s.
Did they?
And then Guns N' Roses
Did
like,
they?
nope, not happening.
Oh my God. I mean, I remember waiting, and they threw the lies at us. Like, oh yeah, that's cool. Even rode through the whole controversy, everything. And I remember when people didn't like them. Like, really, you either loved them or you hated them. There was like, because I was in school when that shit was out, and a lot of people didn't like them, but most of the dudes typically liked them. And then when the Use Your Illusions came out, it was like, okay, the normal people like them now.
Yeah.
Yeah, 'cause
It's
they got
time
the
to
November Rain.
move on. It was
Charles, you'd get along with my friend Nick Mills. That's his favorite fucking band, and he's probably the reason to blame why I don't like them as much anymore. I loved Guns N' Roses, then he loved Guns N' Roses, and then he listened to them like 24/7. And I was like, yeah, this band fucking sucks. I don't ever want to hear another Guns N' Roses song
well,
again.
I
Damn.
I wouldn't agree with the suck part, but I would say that they were, unfortunately, Axl took control of that band. The management became Axl centric, and that's what screwed them over.
They fired Alan Niven, right? And that's when
Yes, when Izzy left, which he was
Izzy
the
left,
heart and
that's
soul
it.
of that
Guns N'
band.
Roses is done.
Right? He was the heart and soul of that band.
Yeah, it's like,
And then
it's
when
like
he
Ian Steve Adler leaving, man, kind of hurt them.
That
that was big,
to a
but
degree,
you can survive that.
but they could have survived that. I agree.
I think they
Charles.
just,
It's-
yeah, if they made a
Izzy's
better
like,
choice.
it's like if Keith Richards left the Rolling Stones.
Exactly.
Well, they were totally
exactly.
You can't.
Exactly.
Yeah, Slash
Gilby
is a great
Clarke was a
guitarist,
joke.
but he was not the songwriting heart of that band. It was Axl
then-
and Izzy.
Oh yeah, and then occasionally Mark likes to throw at me Dizzy Reed. Come on,
Yeah.
come on, that's the luckiest
Fucking
dude.
Dizzy.
on
Funny
this
thing is,
damn
Axl's
planet.
actually a better pianist than Dizzy Reed.
Yeah.
To the songs where
Dizzy Reed's
Axl
just
plays
very-
I
piano.
just say
better.
Dizzy Reed. I don't know why you guys make fun of him. He never talks. He doesn't say anything. Why is he the punching boy? What did he do?
Because why is
His
he on the goddamn cover, like the
His
back
name
cover of the album?
is
Why is he
Dizzy.
How is he in the Rock and Roll Hall
Yeah.
of Fame? What did he do?
He's
The
just a guy
Rolling
that's hired so he
The
can play
Rolling
the piano.
Stones had a keyboardist since the early days that was an older guy that they kept in the back. This guy,
Yeah,
he played
why the
more
hell is
songs
Dizzy
than
Reed
Dizzy
like
Reed.
prominent role?
Aerosmith does that too with a keyboardist. They have it in the back, or he's on stage and they introduce him at the end.
But I believe if the band would have been managed properly, the Use Your Illusions should have been split up and over time, kind of like what Metallica did with Load and Reload. Spaghetti Incident should have been made in an EP. Take some of the covers off those
Should have
Use Your
made a
Illusions,
single.
put it on Spaghetti Instinct. Get rid of some of them shitty punk covers they tried to do, and put Live and Let Die on there. I hated the cover Knocking on Heaven's Door on Use Your Illusion. I did love
Can't
the
stand
version
it.
from the Ritz. The version
like
from the Ritz was a definitive version to me. Even the one at Freddie Mercury. I hated the reggae little
Oh, I
thing
hate
in there.
when
I
they
didn't
die.
care for it.
Horrible.
Stupid.
Oh, it was terrible.
So Vegas.
But Use Your Illusions could have been saved if there would have been maybe a little more development of the songs and spread it out, because good Lord, I mean, we had already 4 or 5 years, or whatever it was, between Appetite to Use Your Illusions, because I don't count Lies. And then Chinese Democracy, which I actually don't hate.
Chinese
I like Chinese
actually kind of
Democracy.
like it. I kind of like
mixed
it better
feelings
than Use
about
Your
it.
Illusions.
I had,
I-
there was a period between 1995 and when did Chinese Democracy eventually come out? Like what,
2008.
2010, I think.
2008.
2008. I
2008,
just
I remember.
Charles on this. So until 2008, there was this period, like Guns N' Roses is one of those bands, like, and Charles knows, where some years people love them, some years people hate them. There was a period between 2000 and 2000, I would say 1995 and 2008, where people were always dogging Guns N' Roses and Axl. I was always defending them. People were always like, oh, they were assholes. Axl was an asshole. Fuck them. Fuck them. Oh, it's a joke. It's a joke. Guns N' Roses are a joke. I was always defending them. I was always defending Axl. I was like, no, Axl's a genius. He's working on something. He's working on something. He's going to change music, and you guys can all suck it. I was a defender. Then I heard Chinese Democracy, and I thought it was decent. I think, this is like a decent solo album, but it wasn't what I was like fighting for 15 years. I was like,
Right.
I was defending
Yeah.
something a little bigger than what I got.
I agree with that. I agree
Yes.
with that notion. I mean, there was no way it could live up to all those years, though. No matter
I
what,
think he
he
should have just
threw
released
down.
it like the original, more industrial version that he had kind of had in his mind back in the late 90s probably just would have been better. Like, and then just kept making music. He got in a weird thing where he got like stuck in it. He just got stuck in the Chinese Democracy, and it destroyed him as an artist. Like,
Yeah.
he's not made new music since then. And this new stuff that I've heard from GNRs, I'm not a fan.
That's from the
Just-
Chinese
neither.
Democracy era. Eddie Trunk said that's not new Guns N' Roses, but he says Slash and Duff have wrote new things with him. But that's
But
none of
better-
it. Hey,
that's
listen,
leftovers.
even I love Izzy. None of the stuff Izzy did after Guns N' Roses is spectacular by any means. I
Yeah.
will
See,
say,
I agree. I
Yeah.
agree. And Marco is just like,
Yeah.
oh, Izzy, towards me. But I'm like, even the
You still
Juju
need
Hounds,
ZR
the first,
guys playing
the first
it.
album, it was all right. It was like all right, but
Yeah,
it was
it's
too
that-
melon campy. to
yeah,
me.
I'd say Izzy's kind of defiantly mediocre.
yeah.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah. Well, the
I
thing
bet
is,
he
too,
could make
can
some good
write good
shit.
songs.
I know he could do better. He's just
Yeah.
being a son of a bitch, Izzy. That's
Yeah.
the
He
thing.
can-
It's like he's just a little lazy and a little like, fuck it, I just want to play these bluesy, jammy songs.
Yeah. Well,
And
here's
it's
the thing,
like, I know you can do better, Izzy. It's just
Oh yeah,
you're
double
just a
talk and
son of a
jive.
bitch.
Double talk and jive. That's
Yeah,
not. I mean,
come on. This is a
that's
guy
all
who
rules.
double talk and jive. Yeah,
the
come
thing
on.
Right.
is, too, I mean,
Oh,
Izzy,
patience.
he can write good songs, but the thing is, when it's just Izzy writing a song and then him performing it with his musicians, it's going to turn out, a certain way. Whereas if he writes a song and he gives it to the guys from Guns N' Roses, who are kind of their own person, and they add their own flavor to it when they play it, it's going to turn out way different than if it's just Izzy playing it with like just some hired lackeys or just going to do whatever he says. So
Exactly.
I think
It's like that for all of them.
another thing.
That's the problem with every
Yeah.
member of Guns N' Roses after Guns
Yeah.
N' Roses. They all got their little group of lackeys to just do what they're told. Like
Yeah.
Guns N' Roses, more than any other band, really, they were like, the sum was better than, you know what I mean? Like it was all them together. Like,
Yeah.
some
Mhm.
bands, like there's one or two guys and that's it. And yet Axl and Izzy were the heart of the band, but they all added something. They all added
Exactly.
something that made them the band that they were. And once you remove that, there's not one genius. Even Axl, and I thought it might be Axl, but after listening to Chinese Democracy, I was like, Axl Rose is very talented, but he's not the genius I thought he was.
I got to
Yeah.
ask Charles and Edwin. I got to ask you guys. Do you have a book called? I think it's called like Reckless Road or something. It's like
Yes.
a book where it like
Yes.
chronicles Guns N' Roses from like the very start when they're in high school, like their each individual projects, all the way to basically when they got signed for Appetite.
Yeah,
I read a similar
I
book.
have
I
it.
read Let Him Bleed.
Oh,
I
you
have
need to
that
get-
one too.
Edwin, you
I
need
have
to
that
get
one too.
Reckless Road, man. That's a cool book, man. And I'm not even the biggest Guns N' Roses fan. I love it.
Hell,
It's-
even Duff's book was really good. I
Yeah,
thought
Reckless-
actually.
I
Yeah,
love
read that
Reckless
book.
Road because it was written by a guy that like basically was friends with Slash since high school, and he basically followed the band all the way up until they got signed. So he's got all these photographs and like notes and like set lists and everything from like every show, everything they did up until they got signed. And
I
it's,
even
it's
had-
such a cool book. You
I
gotta
even
get
had
it.
the coffee table book that was the photos that Robert John did over the
Yeah.
years at one
Mm.
time. I mean,
Motley Crue, I think, had a
yeah,
similar
mm.
book, and it was really cool. And I'm not even
I
a
love
Motley
that
Crue
stuff, too.
fan.
oh my god, yeah, you already talked Motley Crue. I don't know what to say about that. Motley Crue is pretty cool. I wouldn't go see him on
I
this
am.
tour though.
I'm not
I
gonna go
don't
see
I-
that stadium tour. Fuck
No.
that.
You don't think Vince Neil's in prime shape?
He might be.
No. What
I'd
I
go see
heard,
Vince
there's
Neil
a big
solo.
rumor. There's a big rumor Karabi might come back. There's
I
a
think
rumor out there.
That's
It's
not
by
Karabi said that
happening.
was-
clickbait.
That's not
Robbie said that
happening.
was shit.
It's not gonna
Robbie said he
happen.
would never go back to them
Hey,
because they treated
hey.
him like shit.
Don't they?
That's
No
the,
one. They
that's
want
the
people to
lineup
show
I
up.
saw. I didn't know
Yeah.
I was so lucky to see the '94 lineup live. I didn't
Yeah,
know
you're
that
never
was
gonna
like
see
this
that
big.
again. You were very
It
lucky.
ruled.
Charles.
Yeah.
It ruled. Yeah, it was awesome
I've
because
seen video of
with-
it, man. It was pretty good.
with Karabi playing rhythm guitar, I mean, it was
Yeah.
thicker. It was so loud. And then the worst thing though was Nikki Sixx, who I don't hate, by the way. He is an interesting fella, but I don't hate him. He threw this water bottle and the water got me wet. I was more mad about that. And then these two chicks just fought over his water bottle right in front of me. And I was like, are you kidding me? I was like, what the hell? But it was the loudest concert I ever been to because I was like a foot from the stage. It was pretty cool, but I still, I mean, this is what I said on the last BS I was on. Game, set, match. Guns N' Roses doesn't need to add Def Leppard and Joan Jett and all these other acts to their
True.
stadium tour.
It's true.
Yep.
That's true.
That
Yeah.
is the fact.
Yep.
They
neither,
put like
neither does Metallica, AC/DC.
Yeah.
They don't need them
Yeah.
either.
And you know
Yeah,
what's
that's
funny
right.
too is
But Guns N' Roses is very impressive because Guns N' Roses didn't even release as many albums as Motley Crue.
Yeah.
They still
Yeah.
don't.
right,
you know
but
what's
they
funny.
still do it.
Actually, with Motley Crue's case, it would have been better if they stopped releasing albums.
Yeah.
I did like
My
I get shit for this, but I did like 6 a.m. albums. And
Ugh,
I do like
fucking
What?
No,
I like the singer. I like the guy singing the songs. The guy's got an amazing voice. So
Generation Swine is probably the worst album ever made
hard.
ever. And I,
Horrible.
oh my
Generation
God.
Swine sucks.
I like two
Our
songs.
boy Mick Watkins
Even as-
loves that album. I'll
even as
forgive
a little
Mick
kid,
because
when I
it's
saw
some
that album
nostalgic
cover-
thing with him. Like it's a nostalgic album for him, a certain time period in his life. He
Ralph
loves
likes
it. But
glitter.
it's shit. It's a hard
Ralph
one.
likes
I do
glitter.
like
How
Glitter.
can
That's
you
a good
like
song.
Glitter?
Yeah.
Oh my God.
Glitter
It's
is
like,
a good song. I
hard.
can't
I
help
like
it.
glitter.
It's
it's like
hard.
Britney
Mark likes
Spears
glitter.
rock.
I like glitter.
Wait, Mark, maybe you should listen to Britney Spears.
Hey, Britney Spears got
I
some
think
bangers.
you like her stuff. I think you'd like her stuff.
It's
Hey,
probably because I
She
listen
did
to a
do
lot of like
Satisfaction.
ABC and shit, you know, fucking.
I like Britney
Uh,
Spears better than anything on Generation Swine. I'll tell you.
By
Especially
far.
that
yeah.
Blacklight album. That's some sexy shit. give me more. Give me more. I love
But
that.
about the mo-
I'd rather be told to go listen. You like Britney Spears than saying you like fucking Nickelback. So
Oh,
yeah.
Hey man, I'll tell you what, I'm a Nickelback defender because I love a lot of their songs. Everything up until Dark Horse, they had some good songs. Man.
Because
Dark Horse
Eric-
is the only album I liked.
Eric
They're
has
they're
banged a lot of
responsible for the
ladies in
death of
trailer
rock and
parks.
roll.
So-
They're responsible for the death of rock and roll, in my opinion. I hate them.
Oh,
They're
hell
shepherds
no,
of the
man.
devil. I hate
the
them.
death of
oh
the
my
death of
God.
rock and roll
Rolling
happened
Dead,
because
man.
of Silent Lucidity.
There's a lot of great new bands coming out.
So,
Yes,
Eric, I have a
you-
question. Wait,
Why do you
Eric,
hate Silent
when you're in the
Lucidity so much?
trailer, wait, Eric, when you're in the trailer and you're banging the chick after a night from the club, and the Nickelback is playing, but then there's this angry ferret that might have rabies in a cage next to you. What do you pick? What do you go for? Shutting off the Nickelback or trying to step away from the ferret that might give you rabies? What do you do? What's the move?
Well, you said saying cage though.
It's in a cage, but it could still maybe peek its beak out or jaws or whatever.
I'm gonna take my chances. I'm gonna take my chances.
with the
I'll
ferret.
punch that ferret in the fucking head with a beer bottle.
Oh man.
I've heard like 3 or 4 Nickelback. I'll tell you this about Nickelback though. I tell you, there's worse music to listen to. I mean,
Oh, yeah.
that's not
Silent
the best thing
Lucidity.
to say about a band when you hear it. You go, well, there's worse.
No,
music.
Silent Lucidity's better than Nickelback.
Oh fuck Silent
I-
Lucidity. I hate
I
that
would listen
fucking
to Silent
Come
song.
on.
Lucidity before
Yeah.
Nickelback.
Oh, I hate that song.
Come on.
Look at
Yeah.
Eric, you're
It's better than that.
gonna burn that out, dude. You
I'm
need to
not gonna
save,
burn it out.
you need
Damn
to save it for special occasions.
Well,
The
Fuck that
worst
song. I hate that
Queensryche
song.
is still better than the
I haven't
best
heard the new
Nickelback
show
song.
yet, but I bet he brought up Silent Lucidity.
No, he didn't.
no.
Oh wow, I'm proud of
I'll
you.
bring it up all the time, man. But I
It's
do
good.
when I don't bring it up all the time, but I sometimes I get in that fucking mood and I'm just like, fuck this song, you know?
I was gonna have to put you in a 12-step program to get you off that song.
I
Man.
take a step back.
I wish
You
that
gotta-
song
you gotta
could
let
just
it
lead my
regenerate and
fucking
become
life.
funny again.
Yeah, if I keep going on Lee about Bon Jovi all the time, it gets old. So I make up new ones.
We're gonna spring one thing. This is an exclusive. We're gonna spring on this our next episode, which is Thin Lizzy.
Oh,
we're gonna do a Thin
nice.
Lizzy.
I was gonna say you're wearing the Thin Lizzy shirt. That was awesome.
Yeah. I'm plugging our next episode.
Yeah.
And you can probably guess who's going to be on it, but let's just say he's the biggest Thin Lizzy fan in the RMCP army.
Yeah.
And we're going to try to draft him because he also is a fan of Bon Jovi. So on the episode, I think we should
Yeah, we gotta
to
do a
him
Bon
on the
Jovi
episode
episode
because I
with
don't
him.
think Steve's listening to this, so he won't hear it.
Yeah, Steve doesn't like me, man. Nah, I'm
Yeah,
joking.
but on the episode, I think on the episode we should kind of bring it up to Steve, like, hey, you want to do this Bon Jovi episode? And we're gonna do a Bon Jovi episode where we're
Yeah.
just making fun of him for 2 hours.
Oh, shit. Oh, man.
But Eric, I always say though, no matter what, if Silent Lucidity, you hate it. I love Kiss Unmasked, so you can slam me
That's a
for
good
that.
album.
That's a
I'm
decent
a
album.
defender.
I like
Oh.
Unmasked.
Yeah, I love
I
Unmasked.
think it rules. I mean, but I have a specific reason why I think it rules. It really doesn't, though.
Well, when
in
we-
comparison,
When me and Edwin
I-
review that album, we're inviting you on there because
Enjoy
I
it.
need
That
it.
might
I only
be
heard
yeah.
Shandy, and
15
I
that might be
almost threw up.
15 years from now. So
oh, yeah, you've only heard Shandy. Oh man, it's got
Hey,
Naked
you know-
City.
You know what?
Rules.
I need to
I love
like.
Naked City. It's great.
I need
The
to.
rules.
There's one subject I need to talk with Edwin because, after all, you are a screenwriter and you are a lover of the cheese horror movies, right?
Yeah.
Do you ever watch the movie Student Bodies?
Rings a bell.
I think it was the first horror comedy movie.
I think I feel like I did. I'll have to look into it. But,
But there's
I
one-
don't know it offhand.
There's one scene where the guy has a fucking what's that fucking red
Fucking
red fruit, that red fruit. Yeah, it's like, and he goes, no, not that, don't kill me with that. It's like, oh shit, it's on. It's like so fucking.
I'll have to check that.
I think
I've
there's
seen a couple of
nudity in
those ones, like April Fool's Day.
Yeah.
nudity in it.
Well, this is cheese. This is total cheese, dude. It's like
What's your
You said there's
definition of
nudity in
cheese?
it.
What's the one
like
with
Toxic
Wendy
Avengers
Williams?
kind of cheese, but it's
Reform-
good cheese. You
Reform
know?
School
It's like
Girls or
prison
something like
school
that.
girls or some
I
shit
like.
like
Oh,
I
that.
was just
that
talking to
movie
someone
ruled.
early. I like Slumber Night Massacre. It's
Oh, that's a
really
good one.
film.
Summer Party Massacre. Yeah.
Really good. The sequel's fun too.
Have
Oh,
you
yeah,
ever
the sequel's cool because it's got the guitar.
Yeah, it has that rockabilly guy with the guitar that
Yeah.
kills people. Yeah, but the first one's really good. Yeah, I love all that shit. I love all those, especially the like early '80s. A lot of those grimy slasher films. I love a
What's
lot
that
of those.
one? What's the one with the it's like Funhouse or something?
Funhouse. Yeah,
Funhouse,
Toby
yeah.
Hooper.
That is actually a pretty good movie.
It's
actually.
really
What
good.
pissed me off
really
about
good.
that
Yeah.
movie.
That
You
was
know,
done by Toby Hooper, who did
Yeah.
the original Texas Chainsaw Massacre.
Yeah,
and
that was a
Poltergeist.
freaky
You know
movie.
what pissed
to
me off though about that movie was when I rented it from the video store as a kid, it had that creepy looking clown on there with the axe. That clown was never in the fucking movie, and it pissed me off because I'm waiting for this.
That happens
creepy-looking
a
clown
lot.
guy.
You see
Oh,
a
it
trailer
pissed me off.
and that scene isn't in there from the trailer, and you go, "Where's that good scene I saw in the trailer?" They cut it out.
Well,
Yeah.
the,
Let me-
the season of the witch icon really is. I mean, yeah, there's a witch mask, but it's not quite that picture.
Yeah,
Yeah. I mean, although that movie does still fucking deliver.
that's a great movie.
That's the thing. You have to be that level to let it slide that they tricked you with an icon.
Who
that's
all-
there.
Who all is excited about the new Batman? Because I got tickets already for Thursday.
I'm a little excited, but I'm not getting my hopes up too much because nothing's ever topped the '89 Batman movie for me. The only thing
Yeah.
that's come close is Batman Returns, but like everything else has been a
I
letdown.
don't know. The Dark Knight was pretty good.
Oh, I fucking
I
hated The
mean,
Dark Knight. That
Yeah,
it
was
was-
don't go on that with him.
so
I liked it.
overrated.
You know
I-
what?
That was the first movie where I almost like fell asleep in the theater watching it.
I'll be right back.
All right.
I
Go
did
for it.
that for the Hobbit.
The
I
Hobbit.
fell
I fell,
asleep watching the
I fell
Hobbit.
asleep at the first Lord of the Rings because it's a midnight showing.
I just
passed
I'm
hope
at the
out.
it's
age
not-
now where I fall asleep at the movies if it doesn't like get me excited enough or doesn't entice me enough. But yeah,
Well, I
Dark
just
Knight-
hope.
Dark
I
Knight just
hope
bored
that-
me.
I already told you
I
I, fell
thought it
asleep
ruled.
at the Van Hagar concert, right?
Well, you were
that,
kind of
that warms
hammered.
my
a
heart to
little
know
bit.
that.
Huh?
Even you can't deny it, Mark, as a
I
Sammy
fell
Hagar
asleep because
fan.
I was up for 2 days, man. I was tired. I worked.
No,
Well,
for-
I
you
just
don't-
hope
you don't
this
have to
movie-
lie.
I hope the movie's not. The trailers are phenomenal, phenomenal so
I'm
far,
like-
and I hope it's not one of those where the trailer is better than the fucking movie.
Yeah.
I'll
Because
go into it with low expectations and hopefully maybe that'll make it really good. Because I know Dark Knight, I think it was just so overhyped with Heath Ledger dying. And I think so many people just overhype it because of that. And I was
now
so
that-
excited to see it. And then I was just it was such a letdown. It was so boring. It's like, what is this, a crime drama? It's a Batman movie that thinks it's like The Godfather or something. And it's like, no, you're a
well,
Batman
see, I liked
movie.
it. I liked
I
it
loved
because
it.
of that.
Dude,
I
there's a
liked it
lot of
because of
fucking
that.
gunfire in that. The fucking bank robbing scene, dude. What do you think that is, man? That
Like,
scene
I
is
forgot.
amazing.
I forgot we were watching a movie about Batman and the Joker at points, and it was like,
Yeah.
oh yeah, it's
That was
about
the thing
Batman
that I
and the
hated
Joker.
about it. It was just like it's a movie that didn't know what it was. I don't mind if you want to take the Batman's movie and like kind of maybe make it a little bit more serious, a little bit darker. But at the end of the day, you got to remember you're still a Batman movie. It's still a comic book superhero movie. I feel Dark Knight was just so pretentious and just took this concept and just ignored that concept and tried going for something bigger, and it just failed because it failed to realize that, hey, it's still a comic book movie. You can only push this so far before it just looks stupid. You know,
See, that's how I saw-
hated it.
That's how I saw Logan. I thought Logan was cool, but
Logan was
like
boring.
it was like
What's
we
Logan?
just want to
Oh,
cuss.
Logan.
It was
Wolverine.
the
There it
last
is.
Wolverine movie.
You're seeing everybody die. You're seeing fucking
Yeah.
Professor X die. You're seeing
it's-
him get killed. It's
it's
like,
like-
that's just a downer.
Yeah, and then Wolverine's saying like motherfucker this, mother. It was like I'm not a fuddy-duddy about cussing by any means, but it was like they were definitely inspired by Deadpool, which
Yeah,
I've
but-
enjoyed every Deadpool movie.
Yeah, me too.
And-
The Wolverine was better. That was a great movie.
I don't know. I don't think they ever made a great Wolverine movie personally,
I
but
like them. I like them all, even the one
but
with the
the-
Sabretooth in it. Except
but
that
the
stupid,
Logan,
fucking oh wait. That was another movie. Okay, go ahead.
the Silver Samurai.
No, I'm talking about where they had Deadpool where they taped his mouth.
Oh, that was
That
the
was the-
first one.
Yeah, that was the
Oh,
first one. Yeah, that
I didn't
sucked.
care for that one too
Yeah.
much, but the Logan, it was just like they cussed. I thought just to cuss and like, okay, we're rated R, we're edgy, and all that. And I didn't really. It was okay. I didn't think it was great. I thought it was better than some of the other ones, but Deadpool 1 and 2 were awesome, and I'm hoping Disney allows Deadpool 3 that I hear is supposed to come out to be
I read
made
that
right.
they're letting them do this. It's going to be rated R. So
I hope so, because
yeah, they're
if
not
they
gonna fuck
ruin
with
it, make it all silly dilly, then that's not going to be any
Disney
good.
cares about money. They're not going to ruin something that will make them a shit ton of money. So just remember
Yeah.
that. I work for that company. so
And
I
that
know.
Spider-Man, that Spider-Man was phenomenal. So
Yes.
I've heard a lot of good things about it.
Yeah,
I
don't
haven't
ruin it
seen
for
yet,
Edwin.
but everyone seems to like it a lot.
Yeah, it's really good.
I'll
And
see
It
I-
was
straight up
great.
just- I'll
I
straight
like
up
the
see it.
Uncharted movie I just saw with Tom Holland and Mark Wahlberg. Thought that was pretty good.
We got
But-
Morbius coming out.
Yeah, more. I'm tired of seeing that
Too.
preview. Every time I go to the movies, it's like that Mission Impossible, that one year just kept showing for a year. This is like Morbius. I keep seeing Morbius every fucking time I go. To the
Is the new Texas Chainsaw Massacre worth it? I haven't
don't- I
even.
haven't seen
I
it yet.
I will just say I enjoyed it. I saw it on Netflix.
Nice.
I mean, it depends. Do you like just like trashy, gory sequels?
Yeah. My thing with Texas Chainsaw is
If you like a trashy, gory sequel, it'll
What?
it'll pay off.
I like the
I-
reboot with Jessica Alba in it. so,
I didn't like
mean,
that
is
one,
it-
but
I just like
I
Jessica
liked
Alba.
it.
I'm
Yeah.
gonna go into the Texas Chainsaw movie knowing that you can't ever recapture the magic of the first one from the 70s. You'll never capture that same style again. You can't make a movie like that today with a big Hollywood budget and big actors and like today's technology. You just can't.
It's
That
overblown.
movie was like a time capsule. You can only get that because it's gritty. It looks like something you watch. There's a movie called, I think it's like American Movie or something, about this guy that makes this horror movie. It's really cool. But he said something along the lines of like, Texas Chainsaw Massacre looks like something you watch in science class. It's got that grainy look like of an old movie you watch like in your
Yeah.
science class or something. It's
It
real
feels like
gritty.
something you shouldn't be watching, and that's
Yeah.
what gives it that
And
grainy,
there's
gritty film.
Snuffish.
There's a reviewer I listened to, and he did a review on that movie, and he mentioned like this is one of those movies like I can't eat anything when I watch this movie because it almost makes me kind of sick. Just some of the stuff you see, and it's just like, yeah, there's something about it that you could only capture in 1973 on a low budget in those conditions and with those actors. You can never recapture that. So you gotta just go into every new Texas Chainsaw Massacre movie knowing it's not going to be the same. Just enjoy it for what this
Yeah,
one
well,
is.
that's exactly, and I pretty much told a friend that the same thing today, Eric. We
Yeah.
actually had a conversation. He agreed, and it's like you can't recapture. I don't even think you could recapture the wonky, funny, ironic sequel that Toby Hooper did.
Yeah,
It was
even
essentially
Tobe
like-
Hooper knew it.
I
He
liked
knew
it.
that he couldn't
New
recapture
batch.
that in '86.
I liked
to
to.
redo it.
I was going to tell you about that Devin from the DTM or whatever podcast he's doing. He goes all over the place.
He always
Ridgeline.
changes the name.
He
yeah.
changes Ridgeline. I said, dude, you got to stay consistent. This is why you don't
Yeah.
have people on your page. I got some people on his page, so hopefully he can start doing something.
Hey, Devin's a
consistently.
cool guy. I like that.
I try to help him too, man.
Yeah.
And then he put up the cover for Chainsaw Massacre 2, and I see Leatherface like this.
It's the
And I would
Breakfast
go-
Club.
It's a Breakfast Club.
It's the
I know.
Breakfast Club.
I know, but it reminded me like it looked like they made a sloth movie from the Goonies. Hey, you guys!
It totally had that tone. It's funny.
Yeah.
I love
like
love
it.
the sequel. I think it's great.
I know,
not
it's cool.
the original, but it's a different thing.
It just
Tobe
looks
Hooper
like
I
you're
like
gonna watch a
couldn't
comedy
redo that
movie.
in '86, so he was like, "Well, I'm just gonna go for the complete opposite and just make
Yeah,
it all
it's like
wacky and
Evil
goofy."
Dead 2, Gremlins 2. The 80s
Yeah.
was a big time for the funny, ironic sequel. That
Yeah,
was just like
Gremlins 2 is a
parody
good
of the
example of
first
that.
film. Yeah.
What about the one with Matthew McConaughey and
Oh,
Renee Zellweger?
oh no,
That was strange. That was,
was
a very strange.
fucking
movie.
weird.
I'll say
Yeah.
the new one's my favorite that I've seen post the second one.
Nice. I need
I'll
to
say
watch
that.
it. I haven't seen it yet.
I'll have to check it out, man.
Yeah, enjoy it for what it is. That's all I'll just say.
I can't wait for the next Halloween movie,
Although-
the Halloween
Oh, yeah.
Kills.
I tell you that I would like the new Texas Chainsaw Massacre better if it was, instead of called Texas Chainsaw Massacre, it was like called like Texas Chainsaw Massacre 8, Leatherface's Revenge. I just like back. I feel things were more honest when you had the
Yeah.
numbers. When you had the numbers, you knew what you were getting. You knew, like, even like Halloween, like the new Halloween films should be like, Halloween 13,
17.
Michael Myers gets revenge again.
Yeah.
It would just be a little more honest, and you'd go in with that expectation. Like, let's not pretend it's like the originals.
Now I still say Devil's Reject. Like, I'm not a big Rob Zombie fan, like, of his movies. I think his movies are just
I like his
horrible.
films, actually.
But I love Devil's Rejects, and in my opinion, Devil's Rejects is the best Texas Chainsaw Massacre sequel. That's not a Texas Chainsaw Massacre sequel, because I think that would have been a cool concept to go with.
I
where,
get you. And they even did the skin mask.
Yeah,
scene,
I think it
yeah.
would have been a cool concept to see, like, okay, the next day or like, a couple days after the whole incident, the police are catching on and they raid the house, and then like they go on the run and shit. And I think that was like the sequel to Texas Chainsaw Massacre. It's not actually a sequel to
Well,
Texas
Rob
Chainsaw
Zombie
Massacre.
actually might have been hip to this, and I just found this out today. Actually, Toby Hooper's original idea for a sequel back in the 70s was to be the next day, kind of like
Yeah.
what the Halloween 2 did. It would just be, well, which was actually the same night, but it was going to be like the same day. But then you found out that the whole town was filled with cannibals.
Man,
Yeah.
that would've
Yeah,
been
and
cool.
that's like, that's a pretty cool
That's a
idea.
cool idea.
Yeah, but it never happened, you know. they
Yeah,
just
I
thought
still like the
too-
direction they went with the second one. I think that was not bad.
cool.
It was pretty cool. And
Yeah.
then obviously too, you know, with Devil's Rejects, you kind of got that a little bit. You know, you got
You
the
did.
sequel that you never got to see, just obviously with different characters and a different
Did you ever
story
see, did you ever
altogether.
see Lords of Salem?
I saw a long time ago, and it didn't do anything for me.
Yeah.
None of his movies
I
just ever
think
did
it's very
for me.
that's actually my favorite Rob Zombie film. I think
Really?
it's very yeah, I think it's very underrated. I think it's a really cool film.
Yeah, his movies just never did anything for me. I remember I loved his music, but like I saw House of Thousand Corpses and I thought it was okay. And then Devil's Rejects just blew me away. I was like, this is amazing. This guy's a fucking
It's
genius.
a really good film.
Halloween came out and I was like, and I was really excited for that because I love Devil's Rejects. And I'm like, all right, I love Halloween, my favorite horror movie. Rob Zombie just blew me away with Devil's Rejects. That movie was a huge letdown, and just everything else after. I was just like, this Rob, stick to music, man. You had your
It's
one.
funny because
hit
I
hit
probably
movies.
like his films. I'm like the opposite. I kind of like his films better than his music.
Really?
Me
Okay.
too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I
I'm
like
not
his
the
music,
biggest
but
Rob
I'd rather
Zombie
watch his
music
movies.
fan, but I definitely think his music's definitely better than his.
No,
his
he's got a
movies.
couple catchy songs.
Oh,
though.
yeah, he's got some
I'm not.
good
I'm not a
songs.
big fan. It is timeline a little bit. I was talking to Mick about this. I'm not a big fan of that kind of late '90s, early 2000s kind of industrial.
Yeah, where it's just a bunch of samples and audio.
I
and-
like-
Yeah,
like the
it
White
sounds a
Zombie
little
better.
corny to me.
I'm gonna be right
can't-
back.
I
I'm
like-
gonna use the
I like-
bathroom.
Yeah,
I like
Yeah.
White Zombie better than
I like White Zombie
Rob
better
Zombie
than
stuff.
Rob Zombie too. It sounds a little more like a band.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I like White Zombie, man. White Zombie rules, and I like Hillbilly Deluxe, and I think that's about it.
There's some good songs. That's definitely his best
Yeah.
album that I've heard. There are some catchy songs on that, but it sounded more like a band, White Zombie. That's the
Yeah,
thing.
White Zombie ruled. I hope he doesn't ruin the Monsters though. But it looks like he's doing the comedy of it, or he's not going to
I
make a horror
think,
movie.
well, I can't say anything about that.
Oh, okay. I get it.
I was about to say something, but then I'm drinking scotch and then I remember I can't say anything.
That's good. I won't ask you about it then. Well, I know what you're doing now.
Oh, no. I'm not writing it. I know some people
Oh, okay. Well,
that
that's
are
good.
involved. So I know some things about it, but I
Okay.
promised them, but I can't talk about it. That's the thing.
That's
since we're
good.
talking about horror, to me, the one story that they've never ever made right, I think if he did it in a way like Peter Jackson made Lord of the Rings, is The Stand.
I agree.
How come
There's
there's
no
never
definitive stand. There was,
anything
there was
good?
a period, which I actually thought it would have been good. There was a period when Ben Affleck, right after The Town, which was a pretty
Yeah.
good movie, right after The Town, Ben Affleck, there was this period where Ben Affleck was like suddenly a sought after director. Right after The Town, people thought, oh, he'll be like the next Clint Eastwood. And he was pitching a stand. He wanted to do like a two-part, he wanted to break it up into two parts, kind of like they did with the It movie. He wanted to do a two-part epic. Warner Brothers, same company that did the Clint Eastwood's films, wanted to do it. And at some point, someone pulled the chicken switch. I don't know who did it, but it felt like at that moment, that was a moment where Ben Affleck had his shit together. He was a director with acclaimed. He wanted to do this. He would also, I think, been good playing like maybe Stu or one of the characters as well.
Yeah.
And that could have been this big budget epic stand. And I actually think his tone would have been good at that point, because I think he had kind of an earthy working class tone that would have been a little like Stephen King. I think it would have worked well for the stand, but it didn't happen. And then before you know it, he's being cast as Batman, and just things aren't really working out for him anymore. And he's kind of going back in the direction that he was in before that. And I feel like, I'm sure even personally, I know that's a moment where two paths like were laid out where he could have went. And I feel like if he had done The Stand, he would have continued as a director, and that would have been his like life. But instead, he went back to being an actor. But I think if that happened, I think we might have gotten a definitive Stand. I think that could have worked, but it didn't happen for
Right.
whatever reason.
Yeah, and to me, that's a story that It's his best book, in my opinion. I mean, I've read every single book, but I really
When I
enjoyed
was
that
younger,
book.
I
And
used
that
to
was
think that. I've grown to really like the darker ones. I do like The Stand, but I've grown to, I probably, Pet Cemetery is probably my favorite.
Yeah.
And Cujo. Cujo is a
Cujo.
really good book.
Hmm.
If you're right, it's dark.
Yeah.
I like
I
my
like
Stephen
Salem's
King.
Lot. Why can't Salem's Lot be remade? and
Salem's
stuff?
Lot's good. I like
think
my
they are
Stephen
remaking it.
King. I like
I
Stephen King
thought
on
Salem's Lot
cocaine.
was pretty good. The movie version,
Which one?
It was
the movie,
the made-for-TV one.
Yeah, that Toby
yeah,
Hooper.
the made for TV one.
Toby
Yeah, I thought that
Hooper
was
did
really
that as
good.
well.
That was pretty
Yeah.
fucking creepy.
Yeah, I like it a lot. Especially, did you ever see the full uncut version? On
Yeah.
TV? Yeah, that's much better. When I first saw Salem's Lot, I saw this like a cut version that was like they tried to get it down to like 2 hours or 90 minutes.
Yeah,
And I remember watching that and thinking, oh, this isn't so good. But then years later, they finally released like the full miniseries without commercials. And it was like
Yep.
3 hours. And I watched it and it blew me away. I was like,
I
that's
love,
damn good.
I love
Yeah.
Stephen King as a writer, but man, the movies usually turn out really shitty. But Salem's Lot, the full version's like one of the few
Well,
ones
they-
where I really love it.
did in
And
the
The
70s.
Shining, but
The
that's
70s
mainly
and
Stanley
80s.
Kubrick.
Well,
who kinda
there
made it.
were a lot of good ones in the 70s and 80s, I thought. Dead Zone was good. Carrie was great.
Yeah, I like the
Christine.
It was pretty
I
good.
love
decent.
Dead Zone.
Christine is really good. John
Christine,
Carpenter.
yeah. That
Christine's
was
Yeah.
great.
good.
Yeah,
I think
Christine.
Cujo's a good movie. I like a
I
lot
didn't
of the
care for
Children
it
of the
that
Corn.
much.
Maximum Overdrive.
Maximum Overdrive.
Maximum
Children of the
Overdrive's a
Corn.
fun movie.
Oh,
The
shit.
original Pet
Children of the Corn
Cemetery, I
ruled.
think,
Yeah.
is good.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
like the original.
Well,
The
didn't
remake, I
didn't he
wasn't that
write
wild
Creep
about.
Show? Wasn't Creep Show his
Creep
thing?
Show.
It was
Yeah,
him and George Romero.
Yeah, him and
Yeah,
George
Yeah,
that was
that's-
good.
Yeah, the lot of good stuff from the 70s and 80s.
Now,
Misery was good
Misery
too.
was all right.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Misery was good too.
One where he turns into that plant and he shoots himself. That was Stephen King.
Dinner.
Yeah,
Stephen King was one
Meteor
of the
shit.
people that got me into
Yeah.
writing.
yeah,
You know, when I was
nice.
12, Stephen King got me into AC/DC
Oh, nice.
because there's Maximum Overdrive. That's
how many
what got me
movies would be
into
better
AC/DC.
if they had AC/DC in the soundtrack? Just think about it.
I never.
Yeah.
Can you imagine someone who's in junior high watching Maximum Overdrive? I'm like 11 or 12, and that's actually the first time I heard AC/DC.
Dang.
Imagine,
Nice.
because that's the first time I heard Hell's Bells, and for those about to
Yeah.
rock and stuff like that in that movie. And I can tell you, it just blew me away. As much as I love the movie and Stephen King, the thing I left with was, who's this fucking AC/DC band?
Yeah.
And like I went down this rabbit hole big time because of that movie. So it's because of Stephen King that everything that I am with rock and roll kind of, it was a
Yeah.
major point in my life.
Nice.
Yeah.
Oh man, I just want to ask you: have you ever seen that movie, The Serpent and the Rainbow?
Yeah.
Yes.
Wes Craven.
Oh,
Creepy.
Wes Craven, yeah.
Yeah.
That's a
Chick was
creepy-
hot.
That's a creepy fucking movie. Because
Chick
voodoo,
was
man,
hot.
voodoo scares the shit out of me, man. Shit like that with like fucking Exorcist,
Voodoo.
voodoo, fucking
Voodoo
devil
scares you.
worshiping. stuff
Silence
like
of
that.
Lambs always messed my brain up
Oh,
a
that
lot.
movie.
That's creepy
Yeah,
too.
anything with Hannibal Lecter usually.
That new
Not
show-
necessarily.
Psycho, Silence of the
Yeah.
Lambs, and Texas Chainsaw Massacre are all inspired by Ed Gaines.
yeah.
Now that'll fuck you up. I remember when I read that, I said, wait a minute, those three movies are all inspired by the same serial killer? How fucked up is this serial killer? And then I read up about him. I was like, oh shit, he's pretty fucked up.
Yeah.
Damn.
It's like, no wonder you can get 3 fucking franchises out of him.
3 completely
some
different
fucked up
franchises
shit.
too.
Oh my
Fucked
god.
up.
Man. Well, I wanted to get into a Nirvana debate, but we went pretty long.
Okay,
man.
well,
Yeah, we'll get into that. We'll get into that in another episode.
Another
We can do that
episode,
another
Yeah.
time.
Yeah, we can do
Yeah.
that. When Jerry's here, man. I know he wants to join that.
Oh,
That
yeah,
was-
so, yeah, we'll come back. This is
Yeah.
good times.
I was gonna
Fun
talk
times.
about cover models. We could do that later. Like
We'll
album
do
cover
that
models.
another time. Hey, Mark, one thing,
Yeah.
make plans. Tuesday, do you have Tuesday open when we're doing the Judas Priest show?
I'm off.
You're off all day?
I'm off
You
all
should-
day.
So how far is it for you to get into LA? What, like 2 hours?
Like an hour.
Just an hour?
Yeah, I'm just outside Pasadena.
Oh,
In
okay.
Rancho,
Well, yeah.
yeah.
Well, we should all meet up at the Rainbow before.
Okay.
Yeah. So
Where's
yeah,
the
so keep
parking
that-
at? Do you park somewhere? Where do you park? I haven't been there in a long time.
Oh yeah, yeah. They got valet parking or
Oh.
street parking. It's
Street
easy.
parking. Okay.
Yeah, well, especially if it's in the middle of the day, it'll be like the middle of the day, Tuesday afternoon.
Okay,
Yeah, parking's easy. Tuesday afternoon, not a problem.
cool, man.
Yeah,
Just
so
give
we'll
me a
make
time.
plans. Yeah, we'll do it, and we're gonna do
I was,
priest thing.
I was seeing if Vincent wanted the carpool because I go right past him.
Oh, if you're well, Vincent's in Pasadena. Yeah, so he'll probably do that.
Yeah.
So so you guys make plans to carpool, and then I'll meet you at the Rainbow. We'll all meet up there. We'll have just like maybe one beer. Be responsible.
Yeah.
Maybe two.
Two for the
And then we'll
non-drivers.
go and fucking rock out the priest.
Yeah, man. It's cool,
Yeah,
man.
sounds like good times. I'm looking forward to it.
Yeah, me too, man. It'll be our second show watching them. It'll be my third show seeing them because I think before that I saw them with Deep Purple. And then I saw them with you, and this will be my third time. Yeah.
It'll be my third time as well. I didn't see the purple one, but I saw the leg before that. So I saw two firepower legs as well.
Nice.
It's awesome. So it should be good. It'll be
All
good
right,
times.
guys. Promote your show, man.
Eric, go ahead. Promote
All
us.
right. So me and Edwin Cannistraci down there, the cool guy with the Brian Johnson hat, me and him have the Rock All Over You podcast. Basically have episodes up every other Sunday, although in March I think we're going to be having an episode every Sunday because we got a couple big episodes coming up that may end up being two-parters. But yeah, check us out, man. Go on our Facebook page. It's Rock All Over You podcast. We got a new page now too where you can leave reviews on iTunes. If you leave reviews, we will read them on the air. So yeah, we got some cool episodes. Our recent one is the Vince Neil Exposed episode, real fun episode. And also too, Edwin's got a really amazing YouTube channel that I'll let him plug.
Yeah, I got a YouTube channel. Check it out. I talk about like music and shit. And Charles can't talk about what he's plugging right now, but in about a week, the country he's in might have a different leader.
Maybe.
Maybe just a little bit.
We'll see.
Oh, you're going
I
over
hope
there?
not.
You're going over there?
Yeah, I'm going to Poland.
Oh, shit.
See how that's so far from the truth.
Ooh,
Keep that on the
Yeah.
deal. Don't worry, not too many people are watching Mark's thing.
Right.
Oh.
So yeah, damn.
I just busted.
Yeah, doing my thing, and no, I still don't have anything.
The
other
national
than-
security state considers it safe to talk
Yeah, I don't
about
want the
it, so-
FBI knocking down my door, man. I don't need that. I'm
No,
not Terrence.
It's not even like that. It's really not. It's just a line of work. It's same as anybody else. But no, I still don't. Other than silly Skeletor memes and occasional Oasis videos that drive people up the wall and stuff like that. But I will still be online and still moving towards my own direction eventually. So
Yeah,
We'll
you
get
told me
there
you were going to come
someday.
out here, and then you said, no, I'm going over there. I go, fuck, I thought we were going to go to shows.
yeah,
I guess
know.
not.
Well, you never know. It might
Never
even
know.
end up being California again. So
All
we'll
right.
see.
man. Well, you probably don't want to be here. The prices are freaking like
That's everywhere.
Yeah.
It's everywhere,
It's
actually.
everywhere.
Yeah.
Crazy. All right,
All
good
right,
times,
guys.
guys. Good talking to you, Charles. Good times talking to you, Mark. As always, you're awesome. Hey, Eric, it was nice to actually talk to you face to face. We never actually.
I know, right? We never see each other's faces.
We never actually see each
I
other.
had to put clothes on today.
I assumed you were always naked before.
Yeah.
So,
Oh, man.
all right. But
All
good
right,
times, guys. Cheers.
All right. Take it easy.
Right.
Subscribe and share. Later.
Yep.
All right. Later, guys.
Later.
Later.
Yeah.
Later.